Esta youtuber fue por su propio padre por querer independizarse.
Tiba is just it's a horrific tragedy, and it must be investigated, and the perpetrator must be brought to justice.
Y es que su progenitor no estaba de acuerdo con su estilo de vida y justificó su horrible crimen como un de honor.
Tiba faced for leaving the house, and nobody are defending her or trying to help her in the family.
La youtuber Tiba al-Ali, de 23 años, se convirtió en la imagen de un movimiento de protesta en Irak tras ser por su padre, quien aseguró que todo había sido un accidente. No obstante, lo que en realidad sucedió fue que él no estaba de acuerdo con la decisión de su hija de irse a estudiar a Turquía. Es por esto que durante una visita familiar, el hombre decidió estrangularla hasta...
Tiba is just it's a horrific tragedy, and it must be investigated, and the perpetrator must be brought to justice. And you know, when I think about Tiba Ali's case, I wonder how many more Tiba Alis there are going to be, because without adequate protection placed for Iraqi women and girls, these are the risks that they're facing every single day. The current Iraqi penal code is very lenient when it comes to honor crimes, including, for example, so this domestic violence law needs to make sure that domestic violence is criminalized, but it also needs to ensure that a reporting mechanism is put in place, and that shelters are available for women.
Y es que antes de esto, Tiba ya había protagonizado una tensa pelea con su familia por su deseo de casarse con su prometido de origen sirio, y tras haber sido por su propio hermano. Finalmente, el padre fue condenado solo a 6 meses de cárcel, tras confesar que la había por la noche mientras dormía.
Unfortunately, it was a very heartbreaking news for us, especially for Iraqi women. Although the honor is became common in Iraq, but the way or the case with Tiba was shocking for the youth, girls and boys in our society. Absolutely, it's not easy to talk about honor in Iraq, especially we've been trying for the last 10 years, as I was MP, trying hard to pass a law on domestic violence, and each time we were failed. There is so many, unfortunately, not nice comments about what happened to Tiba. They justify it as it's a normal crime because she's a young girl, she went out of the house, and things are not normal to our society. They are neglecting the case, the real case, why this happened to Tiba, why Tiba had to leave her house, because she left the house because she faced violence. Tiba faced for leaving the house, and nobody are defending her or trying to help her in the family.
Y tras salir a la luz la corta sentencia del hombre, un centenar de mujeres salieron a protestar en contra de la legislación del país sobre los de honor, los cuales permiten reducir la pena a aquellos crímenes sucedidos entre familiares. Lamentablemente, este es uno de cientos de casos.
These happy newlyweds, Saba and Quiso, are trying to put the past behind them. But her scars make it hard to forget. Just a few weeks ago, she quietly married the love of her life against the wishes of her family. The day after the marriage, Saba's father and uncle took her from her new home and tried to kill her. Saba told me that she didn't think she would survive.
It was a dark and moonless night. When they stopped the car by the canal, I asked them, "What are you going to do?" They slapped me and they wanted to. And when one passed through my hand, they again. This time it grazed my cheek, and that's when I fainted. They threw me into the canal. It was only when I hit the water that I came around. I grabbed a hold of some weeds and pulled myself out.
Afortunadamente, hay mujeres que han logrado sobrevivir y hoy han podido contar su terrible experiencia.
Unfortunately, with a very angry father and my brother, who went on to perform what is regarded as an odd. They kept throwing the word around, but it is really just another word for attempted. They did break my arm and my jaw, but when I fell, they started to stamp on me and kick me to a point where, you know, I was losing consciousness. I didn't know whether I was alive or dead. And when they did my father put his foot on my throat, I believe I at that point, and it came back. And I know there was a reason. You know, it sounds quite out there, but I believe we're here for a reason. I survived for a reason. I know I should be. I know they've tried to kill me so many times.
How did you get out though? I mean, you say that happened, he had his foot on your neck. How did you get out?
I was laying there for days, you know, again.
So they left you there?
They walked out because my other brother walked in and said, don't come here. It's a really common thing to take girls out of the country and kill them in India and Pakistan and Africa. It happens all the time, it's just we don't hear about it because I wasn't a statistic. Those girls are not statistics. So what you have written down on proof will never really be a true reflection of what's going on.
Sin embargo, es fundamental que Irak tome serias medidas en su legislación para proteger a todas las mujeres de la género y así poner fin a esta ola de honor.
Unfortunately, is very flawed and weighed in favor of impunity for honor, because in most cases it will end in a compromise, because the family will first conspire to kill a woman and then conspire to get into a compromise and forgive the person who has actually pulled the trigger.